Hi, my name is Seprandio. Like I said, I've got two daughters, 4th grader and a 7th grader. Madison's a Seprandio student with you guys, and my other daughter is at Westbriar Middle School. So you guys are living in an interesting time that your 3rd grader is learning how to code. Now, you guys are playing games, but can, by show of hands, somebody tell me, do you know what coding is? Everybody knows what coding is. Give me the definition. What do you think is the definition of coding? You're using commands to the computer, right? Everybody used a little bit of shortcut coding when I asked you to all minimize your screen. How did you minimize your screen?
Oh.
Windows and M, right? So what does the M stand for? Minimize, right? So we started this by everybody using a piece of code to show, I mean, we were using the computers anyway, that's already code, but that's a code to minimize every window on the desktop, right? So that we can all focus. What's your definition of coding?
It's the art of making games.
That's right, it is the heart of making games. It's also the heart of work. It's the heart of designing, architects, astronauts. Everybody uses code every day. I use code every day at work. Now, my career path has been through technology careers. I've worked for big oil companies doing coding to support computers all around the world and to do what we call disaster recovery. If there's all the computers crash, how do we bring them up somewhere else in the world? I've done that. I've worked for a satellite company. Right now my job is not in coding, but I still do coding almost every day. Okay? So coding is writing some sort of a language to make the computer do something that you want it to do, right? So what you guys are doing in your coding game on the code website is you're telling your little character, move forward 90 steps and then take a right. And then move forward 90 steps and take a right. And he's going to draw a box, right? That's pretty simple coding. But there was a lot of coding that was done beforehand to let you do it with this little drag and drop. Right? Nice and easy. So there's a lot of things we can do with coding every single day, right? I use coding to do searches. So in my company we have thousands of customers we talk to. So if I'm going to go to Denver, Colorado for a business trip, and I want to know all the people I talk to in Denver, if I have 5,000 names, I can read every name and every address and figure out how many people are in Denver, right? How long would that take me to read 5,000 names? Or what if we were trying to find all the people in the United States that have been to Denver this year? My gosh, there's 350 million people in the United States. We're going to read 350 million names? No, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to go into a database and write a piece of code that tells us, give me a list of everybody that's been to Denver this year, that bought an airplane ticket to go to Denver. Or for my case, I want a list of all of the customers that are within 50 miles of downtown Denver, right? It's really quite interesting how we can take this huge amount of data and get exactly what we want. So you can use code to find answers to questions. You can use code to make a game, like you said. Here's an interesting thing that wasn't available when I was a 3rd grader. You guys have 3D printers in your classroom, right? So it's pretty neat that you can take an object, take a picture of it, and scan it, and stick it in this computer, and then this computer plugs in to this USB drive, and then magically, it's not magic, is it? The code will print a 3D model of plastic, right? So what if you need a tool, like a certain size wrench? You can go to the toolbox and have one, right? And get one, right? Well, what if you're clear across town? You're on the other side of town and you need your wrench. Well, we can go back to the house and get our wrench. But what if we're on the International Space Station? You can't really pull over to get a wrench if you don't need one, if you don't have one, right? So what do? Well, we can take code of the design of the wrench, and we can use satellites and send that code to the International Space Station, and the astronauts can print a wrench. Just like you guys do in the classroom, right? They can print a tool that they need to fix something in space. Now that's pretty awesome, right? Imagine that. There are 3D printers now being made that can print buildings. Instead of using plastic, they're using cement. That might take a long time, but you could print a castle, right? Now, automation's an interesting thing here. We're talking about how we can automate printers, but do you know that there are now driverless trucks and driverless cars? Have you guys heard about these?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, some of you have?
Yeah.
Tell me what a driverless car does. Drives by itself. So do you think it's like a remote control car? Is there a guy in a room watching you?
No, electric. No.
It might be electric, it could be gas. How does it drive?
How do you find you can tell it where you need to go and then it just goes there by itself.
Okay, so let's try this. I'm the driverless car. Tell me which state you want me to go to. I'll go to Texas, okay? Now, what if there's buildings in the way and I just go straight there?
You're gonna crash.
Oh, I'm gonna crash into stuff. So there's one word I'm looking for. How do the driverless cars work? Code, right? What do? We tell the computers in the car. Think about all of the things that this car needs to have. It needs to have maps. It needs to know speed limits, the size of the road. Is the driverless car, the only car on the road?
No.
My gosh, there's all these other cars on the road, right?
Yeah.
And do all the other cars drive in a perfectly straight line?
No.
Go the speed limit?
No.
Turn when they're not supposed, when they were supposed to? Why do they not do everything the way they're supposed to? Nope. Why do all the other cars?
Because then some of them might not be on robots and someone might fall asleep after me.
Right, someone can fall asleep at the wheel. You know, I watched a discussion recently about driverless cars, and this computer programmer said, in 50 years, that's in your lifetime, in 50 years we're going to wonder why we ever let a human drive a car. Because humans fall asleep. Humans forget where they're going. Humans talk on the phone. Humans text and drive. Humans yell in the back seat to their kids, "Hey, quit fighting with your sister." Right? So think about that driverless car doesn't just have to drive the person in the back seat, you, from here to there. They have to know all the rules of the road. The computer needs to know all of the maps. It needs to know how to get there. It needs to know the speed limit. It also needs to be looking for all the cars around it, or animals, or a third grader running out in the street to chase your basketball. Right? Think about that. If you run out in the street and a car's coming down the road, the driver stops. Will the robot know to stop? I think with the right code, it will know even better than the human. If the robot doesn't fall asleep, like you said, right? So think about the fact that you guys are entering a world that everything you do has code. Everything you do. The stoplights as you're driving home. Even your mom and dad's car today has a computer in it. You don't think about it, but the computer is doing all kinds of things. My car right now, one of the lights is out. Every time you get in the car, do you walk around and check all your lights? I don't. No, but when I start my car this morning, a light came on inside that said, "Hey, one of your lights is out." I've always wondered, what if that light goes out? What if the light that tells me the light goes out, goes out? Anyway, the point is, your car is telling you all kinds of things. There's a computer running your car. You guys probably have some sort of electronic device, or the computers at school. Everything you're doing requires code. In fact, your school breakfast every day. So how do you think Shadowbriar knows how much breakfast to order? Let's figure it out easily. How do you think Shadowbriar knows how much breakfast to order? The calendar. They know how many students there are. But what about this? Let's say there's 1,000 students at Shadowbriar, but today only 800 students get breakfast. Well, I wonder why. Maybe this time of year, a lot of students miss school because they're sick. So next year, and the following year, and all the information from all of the HISD schools can be consolidated into a database to say, you know, the first week of December, a lot of kids are out with a cold. Let's order less breakfast. We'll save some money. Right? So I want you guys to think about the importance of problem solving. Coding can help you answer questions. So when you guys are sitting down at your computers, doing your coding, and you get stuck, how do I make this happen? Just keep trying. You have a question? What's your question, John?
Well, like coding is kind of like what Siri tells you to do on the GPS.
That's right. Siri is using code to tell you where to go on your GPS so we don't get lost. So that we end up at Memorial City Mall, not Memorial City Hospital, right? So, this down, you ready? All right, so in closing, I want you guys to think about when you're sitting down at your computers and coding, and you come against a problem that's hard to solve, don't stop. Because you guys are going to make my life better when you guys are my age and I'm old. So you guys don't stop coding, don't stop problem solving, and especially the girls, because if you think about half of the world is girls, that means we need half of the girls, half the engineers and coders to be girls too, right? So boys and girls, all of you, work hard, keep trying to solve problems, and don't give up on this stuff, because this is what your whole future is going to be. No matter what career you do, you're going to be coding, okay? Well, thank you guys for letting me come talk to you today.
Thank you, sir.